The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss easy vegetables that you can grow in your garden this year, as well as 4 keys to a better garden. Our guest is YouTuber and backyard organic gardener Angel Gist will be with us, and we'll answer your garden questions. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. So happy you've chose us to be part of your day. I'm your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Want to be part of the program? Well, you can send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call anytime, 24/7, 365, 1-800-927-SHOW. That's toll-free coast to coast at 1-800-927-7469. If we can't get to you, leave a message and we will call you back with the answer to your question. Thank you for tuning in on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies, broadcasting our program here in 2025 through a radio app, through our parent website, WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay or in-studio video replay. Thank you for consuming the program. Before we get in the program, Holly, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
All right, so what is a snowman's favorite type of vegetable?
What is it?
A snow pea.
Or snow peas.
Snow peas, yeah.
Plural? Yeah. Okay.
All right, so what did the baby corn say to the mother corn?
What did they say?
Where's popcorn?
Like Papa?
Papa? Yeah.
This week's joke is brought to you by
Rescue.com, American-made rescue products to keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests like insects, wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Oh, well, vegetables that are easy to grow. Now, the quotations or asterisk to this conversation is all vegetables, fruit, and trees always are going to have the potential of having some type of issue, whether it's fungal, whether it's bug, whether it's disease, whether it's something. So with that asterisk, keep that in mind, that there is no such thing as an easy vegetable to grow. There are conditions in which vegetables can grow much better than others, and we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. But there are categories of vegetables that are more simplistic to grow, that are less complicated or less maintenance required. We'll start with leafy greens. Leafy greens, typically you just throw the seed in the ground. You don't have to fight with necessarily a seed start, such as, let's say, leaf lettuce. You can start from seed your arugula. You can start from seed your basil, your rosemary, those type of things in the garden itself. Herbs, you can start inside from seed, so you can go either way. But leafy greens, any of your leafy greens are very easy to grow, cool crop.
Even most herbs, like you said, but rosemary is a little bit harder.
Herbs are a summer crop and will be killed by the frost. Leafy greens are cool tolerant. They can handle a light frost, but they don't like the heat or long days. But on both categories, they're easy to grow. Onions are not easy to grow in some instances because of soil density, soil nutrient deficiencies, and you may have selected the wrong day length of onion. Short day, neutral day, long day onion. The counterpart on that is an easy crop to grow that is similar to onions, which is leeks.
Yeah, leeks are very easy to grow. We start ours indoors, but would you have to? I guess you would have to.
It's best to get them established. Not necessarily, it's not recommended to throw the seeds in the ground per se for a backyard gardener. People do that, but I prefer to have the actual start. And then you can actually bury it deeper. People are conditioned to eat the white portion, or in the garden, or the bleached portion, the portion that does not get sunlight. and then discard the rest of it. That's simply not the case in other parts of the world. People eat, and we eat the entire plant because all is a leek. You can chop it all up, put it in a stir fry, bake it, whatever. It's all a leek, and it's all consumable. There's no throwaway part except for the actual roots themselves. And if you don't, if you're having challenges to growing onions, grow shallots. There's a many different varieties of shallots in which you can grow, but if you don't like to peel onions, you're not going to like shallots, because shallots, you plant one bulb and it will divide like a garlic clove does. And by the time harvest comes, you'll have that initial bulb, but you'll have 6 or 7 potential bulbs, small onion bulbs that are sweeter, but do take a lot of peeling in order to do such. We bake them in the oven.
Yeah, we roast them, so then you kind of just squeeze them out of the
skin. Yep,
the skin. Yeah, so shallots are an interesting one. I don't think a lot of people realize that shallots are easy to grow because they think that they're like fancy, and they are, I guess. They're a mild onion kind of flavor, and they're used in a lot of, I believe, French cooking, but they are easy to grow.
We talked about garlic. Garlic is very simplistic to grow. You grow it in the fall, and then you harvest it in the spring, late spring. For us, we plant it in October. We harvested it in late June, early July. So it's taking up a lot of real estate. But really, once you put the clove in the ground in October and cover it over and designate that area as the garlic bed, you don't have to do anything, hardneck garlic in our instance, until June, when you cut back the scapes, which is the external growth out of the top portion of the plant that, if left alone, will put a seed pod on and take energy away from bulb development. Softneck onions or softneck garlic does not have the scape. They simply fall over like an onion when it's time to harvest. Hardneck garlic, you harvest the scape about 3 weeks before you decide to dig the plant up. And the indication of harvest time is the lower sets of leaves begin to die off. The whole plant does not have to die off in order for the time to harvest.
Right. And you don't want to leave them in the ground for too long because they could cause rot. And that's the biggest one, is that typically when you're harvesting garlic, there's a chance that it could be a rainier time of year. So you want to make sure you're not leaving them in the ground for too long. And you can also come back with another crop behind it. So depending on where you live. So what else do we have?
Radishes.
Oh, radishes. Yeah, radishes are easy to grow.
Early spring, late fall, takes 30 days to reach maturity. They are day length sensitive, so you kind of have to plan that. You can plant any of your cool season crops in a more of a partial shade location. So as the days get longer and the temperature gets warmer, they won't go to seed or bolt as quickly as they would if they were in open area, direct sunlight, in your cooler time of year. So 30 days, you plant them from seed. Don't buy them at the garden center, the starts. Put them in the ground with the seed, and within 30 days, you've got your Easter egg radishes. You've got your red champion radishes. You've got
purple. What are they called?
I forget what royalty.
Yeah, something.
Ones. Many different varieties. Some of them do take some longer times, like the Mexican radish takes about 50 days versus the 32. Some are ready in about 18. So rapidly.
Now, these are not the daikon radishes.
No, the daikon radishes are like the giant carrot ones that are you see.
These are like I guess salad radishes.
They look like a little bit bigger. Well, they can get as big as like a ping pong ball. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want to keep that in mind. Just because it's a radish doesn't mean it's going to grow super fast.
And if you don't keep the water to them, they're going to get they're already kind of a little on the spicy side, but if the water does not get to them, they become spicier. And in order to combat that spiciness, clean the radish up, trim the top off, trim the roots off, throw them all in boiling water for 5 minutes, and that sucks a lot of the heat out, that spiciness out of the bulb of the radish bulb. Last one we'll get to here is beans. Now, bush beans, pole beans, you have the option there. Bush beans take 40 to 60 days to reach maturity. They're in a bush. Pole beans take 70 to 80 days to reach maturity. They can be vined on any type of vertical apparatus. And as long as you continue to harvest these beans in small pods, size, they
They're
will
gonna keep
produce.
producing. Yeah.
Until frost.
Yeah, if you like beans or if you want a crop that is going to be something to freeze or can, whichever one, the beans.
If you can them, you got to go pressure canning because they are not safe to water bath anymore. That's been changed for about
you will have
20
beans
years.
aplenty. They just grow and grow and grow. And if you are like, I don't know what to grow, but I know I like beans and I like these other things. Beans are definitely something that you can keep doing.
Pole beans, you're going to get green beans, or they're green.
Yeah.
Bush beans, you have the option of wax beans or yellow, and royalty beans, which are purple. But when you cook the purple beans, they turn back to green.
Now you can grow hard shell beans, such as like pinto beans,
Northern white kidney beans. Yeah, northern white beans, kidney beans. Yeah.
What you normally find like in a soup or a stew or something, chili, whatever. Those are typically bush beans.
Yes.
But those grow prolifically as well. And I know a lot of people are these days eating more beans, eating more legumes, things like that. And definitely you could grow your own.
Walton's Inc. has some opportunities for you as well.
Yeah, we are brought to you today by Walton's Inc. We know you care about where your food comes from, canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables. At Walton's Inc., you can get waltonsinc.com. You can get all the equipment, seasoning and supplies to make sausage and jerky and any other meat product your way. Meatgistics.com is there to help educate people on the hows and whys of meat processing, as well as a community of 15,000 plus users who will give their opinion and guidance on meat processing issues. They have decades of experience in the meat processing industry. And they have everything, full line of meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, spices, help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50, that's GROW50, to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more.
When we return, 4 keys to get your garden to produce and be better this year. You're tuned into the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Brome is home to the Squirrel Buster brand of truly squirrel-proof bird feeder. We have been designing and manufacturing wild bird feeders since 1998. When a squirrel lands on the Squirrel Buster, its weight automatically closes the seed ports, denying access to the seed, but not harming the squirrels. We design products that are simple enough for anyone to use. They're built to last a long time and are backed by our lifetime care to extend the life of our products. We offer expert customer service to help owners with any needed maintenance or repairs. Visit brome.com for more information. Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4Jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4JARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com.
Wondering if your soil is ready for a successful spring planting season? At Grow Smarts, we make it easy to find out. With our at-home soil test kits, you can pinpoint exactly what your garden or lawn needs to thrive. Simply order online and we'll ship a test kit right to your door with everything you need, including a prepaid shipping label to send the item back. In just 2 business days, you'll receive clear, concise lab results highlighting your soil's pH levels and nutrient needs. Plus, our customized recommendations will guide you on the perfect fertilizers containers, and amendments to use. No more guesswork, just healthier plants, vibrant flowers, and bountiful harvests. Right now you can save 10% on your order with the code RADIO at growsmart.com. That's GROSMART.com with code RADIO. It's time to kick off your spring garden with confidence. Make the most of your soil and watch your garden flourish, because when you grow smarter, your garden flourishes.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
Want bigger blooms and better yields? Without the hassle, Carricade makes gardening easy with eco-friendly, effective solutions. Rated 4.8 stars, trusted by growers like you. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's RADIO10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com. Totally Tomato is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of tomatoes online. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at TotallyTomato.com. That's code 15TG25. Wind River Chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Thank you for allowing us to be part of your day. How can we have a better garden this year? Well, there's a lot of things in which we can do as gardeners to increase the success level in which we can have in our garden. We're going to go over several of those in which can make me increase your production rate in your backyard garden or your community garden, wherever your garden is located.
Yeah, so the first one is and I like this one, is to plan several ways if possible. And I think this is great because it gives you a chance. If you have a fail point, you have a saving point usually too. So this would mean, growing, whether it be something like raised beds versus containers versus in the ground, but then also growing annuals and perennials if possible. Sometimes you can't grow perennials depending on where you're growing, but these give you some options. And
well, it's just like growing up on the farm.
Some control.
On our farm, we had multiple, I guess, stop points, or I don't know what the term is, but we had cattle, we had hogs, we had wheat, grain, we had soybeans, and we had corn. So there was 5 different levels of income that could come in.
Like a fail stop.
Fail stop, yeah. So if one, and then in amongst those varieties, we didn't plant all the same variety of soybeans or all the same varieties of corn. We had 5 or 6 different varieties of each one of those that was spread amongst the farm. So if one had a bug infestation or did poor in drought, even though it was tested by the seed companies, one field may have only yielded 40 bushel of the acre, but the other one did 90 or 110. We didn't have everything all one thing, and if it failed, we were done.
Right. So that's the same thing here. You obviously don't have to include livestock or cattle, but
some people are getting into chickens.
Some people are getting into chickens, yep. Yes.
For a variety of reasons. Yeah. We won't get into that. Good soil, watering, and it's okay to fertilize that good soil organically or in a safe manner.
Right. So, so good soil just means that you want to make sure that it's nutrient rich, that if you are starting fresh, that you know where your soil is coming from. And also, you want to make sure that you're not just using some cheap old whatever you found on discount or something.
Or if you got in-ground. You want to get your soil test from growsmart.com or soilsavvy.com to give you an analyzation of what you need to do, what you don't need to do, and how to fix that. And on your point, if you're going to go purchase compost to fill or supplement, fill your raised beds or mix in with your native soil, there's some things you need to be aware of.
Yeah, you need to be aware of where the soil comes from, because you could end up with possibly bad soil. And that's not good.
Those companies typically don't last too long.
They typically don't last too long. And if you're like, well, I don't know what to do, you could go to your independent garden center or soil supplier, whoever they are, local independents, and find out, where does this soil come from? How long has this company been around?
The origins, how is it made? What is the base product? Is it scraps? Is it lawn debris? Is it just whatever anybody wants to dump in the pile and we break it up?
Is it turkey droppings? What?
Right.
What is it? Is it maple tree bark? Who
And
knows?
and independent garden centers, reputable, trustworthy soil manufacturers, they will have no problem telling you what the origins. Whenever you ask that question, like, and they start, walk away, because they are hiding something. Be careful if you go with that, because a company that has no worries about, they will say, yeah, here's the origins, here's the products that was brought in, blah, blah. They will tell you without any concern whatsoever.
Right. So you want to think of a good soil. You want to water properly. So watering properly just means watering
irrigation system. Dripworks.com.
And it also means you're not just going to think about watering, you're going to do the watering.
No splash and go.
No splash and go. You want to get yourself on a watering schedule. And if your watering schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, just because it rained on Wednesday doesn't necessarily mean, say it rained Wednesday morning, but you weren't home and you're like, I'm pretty sure it rained here, but by the time you got home, it was dried up. You're not really sure. Just water, check your soil, go an inch or so down and see how dry the soil is.
And just because you may water in whatever method, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, that may work in April or early May, but when it comes July and August, you may have to go every day if you're not on an automatic watering system for your garden, because plants grow a lot better when the soil is damp and has moisture than when it's stressed and trying to survive.
And they also ward off a lot of problems.
It's a healthier plant.
So then fertilizers, you just want to do your research and know what you're putting into your soil around your plants.
Same thing, the origin of it.
The origin of it. And then also, once you figure that out, you want to follow the directions. Just because a half a cup per 3 square feet is good doesn't mean that a whole cup is better.
That's just an example. Don't follow that.
Follow the instructions. Use your smarts, and then keep in mind that even if it's organic or natural or whatever you want to call it, that more is better. That's not true. And a lot of times you're wasting your money. You could be harming your soil. There is still fertilizer damage and things like that, even with organics.
Choose the plants that's suited for your particular climate and your soil. Research the plants that thrive in your specific growing location. And in that realm, there are climates as well, meaning something may grow great in your neighbor's backyard, but you can't grow it at all, or the other way around. So know the health of your soil, and then figure out, like we talked about in the first segment, onions. Some people have challenges growing onions because they get the wrong day length for their particular area, and it doesn't grow well, and they think they're a horrible gardener. That's not that. Know what grows in your area. If you're going to get fruit trees, know what zone you're in, and get the zone one colder than what you're. If you're in a zone 5, get a tree or a plant that is suitable for zone 4, so it always has that little bit of cushion, and the longevity of that will be more accurate, because there's going to be years where you're going to have that really dip in that cold, and that plant that's suited for 5, now that cold temperature for a week is really like a 4, or a 3, and it's not going to last. So keep that in mind when you look at your zones for your overwintering or your perennials.
Yeah. So then you also want to consider growing native plants. Native plants, they are adapted to your local climate. They also work well within the local ecosystem.
Now, when you say that, we're not really speaking like cucumbers or peppers. We're talking more of flowers and grasses and shrubbery type of thing, aren't we?
Absolutely, and even can come down to some annuals. Like I know we just picked up. We were at this other expo, and they had this Wisconsin natural.
Butterfly mix.
Pollinator.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do all sorts of things, and you're like, I only grow vegetables. How does this apply to me? You should be growing some flowers because it helps the pollinators. And if this pollinator mix, basically you just like toss it into some soil and it grows. So native plants do grow usually very easily.
Mulch. Use mulch in combination with that watering. Mulch is going to do a couple of things. Natural mulch, chemical-free, seed-free grass clippings, shredded paper, straw, chemical-free straw, dry leaves, if you have leaves left over, that type of thing. It's creating a barrier. It's creating a barrier preventing moisture from wicking out of the soil and into the air and drying out the soil quicker. It slows it down. It's not 100%, oh, we got mulch on, we don't have to water ever again. You want a couple of inches of mulch. And it also prevents soil from splashing up in watering or rain onto particular plants or all plants, especially like tomatoes, that soil harbors early blight, which discolors your plants and starts killing the plant from the ground up. So that also benefits that soil protection of the plant when you use mulch. There's a variety of different mulches you can get. I would avoid synthetic mulches or mulches such like cocoa coir, the chocolate cocoa coir. Regular cocoa coir is fine. Can be expensive if you want to go that route. Natural stuff. When you mow your grass, if you're not using a weed and feed on your lawn and it doesn't have seeds on your grasses because you've waited too long, bag that up, let it dump it out somewhere, kind of one layer on the driveway, let it dry for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, put it in the garden, and you're good to go. And that'll break down. You continue to do that. You're feeding your soil as well, but make sure it doesn't have weed seeds or chemicals on that grass, as well as plant where the plants should be grown.
So that means, like, for example, if you have something that's a full sun plant, like a tomato or a pepper or something that you're growing for the fruit of the plant, like the actual fruit, you want to plant that in full sun. If it's something where it's a shade plant and does well in the shade, 6 to 8 hours of sunlight, you want to make sure...
Like herbs,
or like lettuce, something leafy, then you want to make sure you are keeping that in the shade. You can easily, if you don't, maybe you're like, I don't have any shade in my yard, then you might not, but then you might need to invest in some shade cloth, because a lot of times too much sun can burn those shade plants, and obviously not enough sun is not good for the fruit plants.
Soon it will be warming up, Holly, and you will want to make sure your lawn is safe from those beetles and grubs.
Yeah, spring is just around the corner, and it's time to start thinking about controlling beetles and grubs in your garden. There's all sorts of... Everybody's always talking about Japanese beetles, and they're going to be a problem.
Grub Gone. It can be applied directly to the turf, garden, around ornamentals, and can lessen the impact that beetles have on your yard this summer. Easy to apply with a commercial spreader or irrigate it right into the soil. It is specifically designed to target grubs and beetle invaders without harming beneficial insects like bees, ladybugs, and butterflies.
And to be honest, it's the only BT or non-chemical that works. Find out more at phyllumbioproducts.com. That's PHYLLOM bioproducts.com.
And or grubgone.com. Hang out with us. When we return, Angel Gist will be with us. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Get higher yields with durable green bed raised garden bed kits designed to be drainable, breathable, pest resistant, and long lasting. DurableGreenBed.com. Abundance guaranteed. Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with the snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com.
Are you bugged by bugs? You need Naturally Green Products No More Bugs, environmentally friendly. Made in the USA, No More Bugs is a cedar blend that repels and eliminates mosquitoes, no-see-ums, ticks, fleas, roaches, ants, and more. No More Bugs is safe for you, your pets, and plants. Available online at nomorebugs.net, Amazon, Walmart.com, and the Home Shopping Network. RH Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25. Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bits. Organic Summit Year-Round Spray Oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit Year-Round Spray Oil and Summit Mosquito Bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at summitresponsiblesolutions.com. If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts. Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Tree Ivy Root Development System, the quickest way to get new trees on their feet. treeivy.com. Vermont Bean Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company with the largest selection of seeds online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at vermontbean.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy you're with us today. Miss any of those coupon codes, you can find those all out at our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Angel Gist is known as the Perky Plant Parent. She is an author, YouTuber, longtime gardener, and enjoys making things from scratch for herself and her family in her home. Welcome to the program, Angel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us, not only educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this one. Many people choose to start seeds indoors. Other people choose to buy them. What is your best seed starting tip as we're in that time of frame now? What can you offer all of us that will make seed starting a little easier?
Well, first off, I want to say that there's a lot of information out there, so don't let that scare you from getting started. So many people just freak out and then they never start because they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much information. But there's so many different ways to garden and start your seeds. You just have to get in there and get your hands dirty and figure out what works best for you, because we all have different budgets and different levels of experience. But one thing that I just recently learned, probably about a year ago, and it's a really important tip, is that there are quite a few seeds that need light to germinate. And that means that you can't cover them with soil, or if you do, it just needs to be like a very light dusting. And there are a bunch of flowers and herbs that really need light to germinate, like cosmos, basil, thyme, chamomile. So all of those need light to germinate. And I could never figure out why my peppermint seeds wouldn't germinate for like years. I would have to every year go buy peppermint. And I was like, I don't know why everyone says it's so easy. It's not easy for me. And really, that was the reason why, is they needed light to germinate.
Now, you bring up peppermint. Is peppermint one of those plants that you really should keep in a container? Otherwise, your whole yard is going to be peppermint if you're in a couple of years?
Yes, definitely. Peppermint spreads like crazy. But I don't mind. I love it. But yes, it's best grown in a container for sure, or it's going to be all over your yards.
Well, speaking of containers, you grow in containers. Why this versus in-ground or even like typically traditional raised beds?
Well, I do grow in raised beds, but I do have a ton of containers, and I like those big nursery pots, like 25 and 30 gallons. And the reason we use a lot of containers is because every place that we've ever lived has been a lease house. Okay. So, I mean, we are actively looking for our homestead. So everyone out there, say a prayer for us that we find something perfect. but until we do, we are leasing. And the containers are very easy because they're super easy to move around. And so the last time that we moved from Texas to Oklahoma, and we brought a bunch of our containers. Like half of the U-Haul was filled with containers. And Ryan even had to go back and make another trip and get some that we had left there. But I like, the reason I like to garden in containers is because, I teach people how to garden, and just about everyone can garden in containers. So it's pretty easy to show people how to do it like that, because it makes it easier for them to kind of copy that.
And I think
that makes sense.
Yes. And in containers, I think there's a misconception in the gardening world. Oh, I grew in it last year. I've got to dump it completely out and put fresh soil in. And that's simply not the case. It's based on the size of the container. You don't have to dump it all out.
No, not at all. We usually just, add some more compost every year. We add some compost, some worm castings. We also have a product that we love called pit moss. And so we just add that because containers can get really hot. And and we found that using this pit moss, which is like a peat replacement, it is so awesome in helping retain moisture, especially because we were in Texas and it was hot, 100-degree temps. That stuff works awesome.
For those of us who have never lived in Texas, or the 30 or 50 or 80 or 40 days of triple digits, does anything grow? And how do you, is it just built into those people down there that, this is just summer, this is what's going to happen, 100-degree days for 2 months in a row? I mean, it's a totally different world.
It is. And that's kind of why we moved, because it just got unbearable for me. And it's a struggle. I mean, if people say you grow tomatoes in full sun, you don't. In Texas, you can't. Not in Southeast Texas anyway. We grew our tomatoes in part shade, like dappled sunlight. So we always put cucumber, like stuff that says full sun. We never grew it in full sun. And like I said, using the pit moss and mulching really good just helps. It helps keep the soil cooler and keeps from stuff frying. And I mean, after 85 degrees, and sometimes in April it's 85 degrees, and it's like your tomatoes are done until the fall if they can hold on.
Right. Or were you in the area of Texas where you basically had two different tomato growing seasons?
Yes. So a lot of times we would start seeds for the fall. We would start those in late July or August to replant or plant them back out. Gosh, beginning of October. I mean, it stays hot there sometimes until the end of November. Mm-hmm. So it just, you have to play it by ear, like every year. Like, is it going to be cool enough yet? So yeah. I mean, it's
in
tough.
into November here, we've got snow on the ground, sometimes maybe a foot here in the northern portions of the country, and you guys are still harvesting tomatoes, which
Yes.
just fascinating
Right.
how that all works.
It is. And even, just us moving here to Oklahoma, it's 8 hours north, but completely different. I mean, the weather is so much nicer. I mean, it's crazy.
That's definitely sounds like a much of a difference. So your YouTube channel is Perky Plant Parent. Tell us more about your YouTube channel and what people can expect when they go there.
Okay, well, my YouTube channel could definitely use a little love. It's kind of like the wicked stepchild for us. It's like the last thing we think about because we don't really do a ton of long form videos on there. We really want to, but our focus has been on short form content. So we do have a lot of short form content on our YouTube channel, just like all of our other channels. And what we do there is basically organic gardening. We talk about soil health and growing your own food. And just within the last couple of years, I've kind of focused on like herbal medicine, like growing herbs for medicine or, like lip balms or hand salves or, that sort of thing. But we also talk about holistic living and I do some cooking recipes and stuff like that. And I try not to use a lot of additives. I don't really use like refined sugars or seed oils or that kind of thing. So basically just growing food and trying to do it as organically as possible without the use of like herbicides or pesticides or anything like that.
Now, for many of gardeners, we all have that one plant or group of plants that we cannot grow. Do you have any of those that it just you're just like, I've tried, I can't do it, we're going to move on to something more productive?
Well, it's starting to look like it's squash for me. We cannot keep the bugs off of our squash plants, and doing it without pesticides is so difficult. The squash, the vine borers just they shred our squash every single year. It's so difficult to grow squash, and maybe it's going to be different here in Oklahoma, but because last year we moved here in July, so we didn't start any of the we had already grown that in Texas. So I tore out my garden in Texas the end of June. And we moved here. So we didn't do anything else in the summer. And we didn't plant any squash in the fall. So fingers crossed, within the next month or so, we're going to get the squash in the ground and it's not going to get eaten by the vine borers.
Well, you've also had challenges with deer. You've got a great and cheap and easy deer fencing tip. What is that and how successful has it been for you?
Well, are you talking about the fishing line?
Yes.
Okay, so we used that in our very first garden and then in our next garden, and it worked great. But last fall we tried it and it was a total flop. The first couple of times we did it, we only had seen a few deer. And now where we live, there's a group of 30 or 40 deer that frequent our yard probably on a daily basis. So we put up the fishing line last fall, and needless to say, it did not work. Every single day we'd go out there and more of the garden would be eaten until there was nothing left of it. Oh my goodness, it was crazy. So I think that it does work if there's not a lot of deer. But so anyway, a couple of days ago, I think it will work if you only have a few deer or, a couple here and there, because, but if you have a ton of deer like us, I just don't think it's going to work. We were really disappointed that it didn't work because we really had high hopes. And so anyway, with the help of, suggestions from my viewers, they said, get some deer fencing or deer netting. And so we were going to put that up in the fall and replant everything, and we just didn't do it. So we waited, and a couple of days ago, we just put up the deer netting. So I really hope that that's going to keep the deer out. And everyone is saying, you better hope it's, it needs to be at least 7 or 8 foot tall or those deer are going to fly over it. I'm like, no, don't tell me that. It is, I think it's about 6.5 feet tall. So
yeah,
I really hope
a little resistance, but like any wildlife, if it's hungry enough, it's going to find a way in. It doesn't care what the barrier is.
I think we're going to plant like some, it's really hard for us because we are leasing and they really don't want us to do a lot to the yard.
Right.
But we're going to try to maybe put some deer resistant like flowers and stuff on the outside of it. So hopefully they'll smell that and run away.
Fantastic. We really enjoyed having you on the program. Angel, can you tell us how people can find out more about you, find your great information, etc.?
Sure. You can find me on all social media platforms. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube at Perky Plant Parent. And you can also find me on my website at perkyplantparent.shop. And we also have a hemp mulch company. So if you'd like to order hemp mulch, you can find that at mindfulhempco.llc.
Well, Angel, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered us and the education you've provided, Holly, myself, and all of our listeners. We thank you for that.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, y'all.
Absolutely. And when we return, it's going to be your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned in to the Garden with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standard strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit azurestandard.com, that's AZURE standard.com. Use promo code JoeyandHolly15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code JoeyandHolly15 at azurestandard.com. Azure Standard is AZURE standard.com.
Chip Drop is a website you can sign up for free wood chip mulch delivery right to your door for free. Chip Drop connects homeowners and gardeners with tree services who are trying to get rid of their wood chips. You can also sign up to get free logs and firewood. Go to chipdrop.com to learn more and sign up for a free account. Edmonds Roses is a family-owned and operated rose company with the largest selection of roses online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at edmondroses.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at edmondsroses.com. 4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4JARs.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gym-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4JARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com.
My garden hasn't looked this good in a decade. That's what gardeners are saying about Carricade. No extra fertilizers, no harsh sprays, just thriving plants and massive blooms. Rated 4.8 stars. Shop Carricade.com and use the code RADIO10, that's Radio10, to save 10% off your order at Carricade.com. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online. Roots and Rhizomes is a family-owned and operated gardening company specializing in daylilies, irises, and perennials. Use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rootsrhizomes.com. That's code 15TG25.
Hey listeners, we're excited to introduce to you Sun Warrior. They are well known for protein powders and supplements, and that they are 100% clean, plant-based, non-GMO, soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, and without filler. Since you are into gardening and things that come from the earth, we thought you would appreciate that they offer high-quality, plant-based ingredients that come from our Mother Earth and that your body is craving. They've made a special code for you for 25% off your order. At checkout, enter Joey Holly 25 and save 25% on your order at sunwarrior.com. That coupon code JOEYHOLLY 25 to save 25% off your order at sunwarrior.com. Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Coupon codes can be found at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Money tab at the top of the page. Holly, if you want, it's time for a garden question and answer, getting ahead of myself. If you've got a question, submit it on over to avenues in which you can do that. GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. That's GardenTalkRadio@gmail.com. Or you can give us a call toll free, coast to coast at 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-7469. If you can't get through, leave a message and we will call you back.
I live on a military base and we aren't supposed to plant in the ground due to contamination. If I buy a raised bed, how deep do you think it would need to be to grow something like tomatoes and not have them reach the earth below? Do I need some sort of additional barrier? I would recommend...
Well, first of all, whether it's you or your spouse or loved one, thank you for your service. Thank you for protecting us. And here's what we have to offer on that particular question.
So I would purchase some sort of raised bed situation that has a bottom, whether that be like a huge grow container type of situation, or putting down something underneath your raised bed, weed barrier,
or a rubber mat.
Yeah, like a rubber mat, something like that.
What about buckets?
Buckets would work too. You could do straw bales
with that mat, keeping the roots from penetrating through the straw bale. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to create some sort of barrier or plant in something that would have a natural barrier, like a bucket or a huge grow container, grow bag, etc.
Oh, there you go. All right. Next question here, Holly.
When is a good time to put lime down on my lawn?
The best time to put lime down is typically in the fall. And the rain and the freeze and the thaw cycle will help work it in and break it down, the lime effectively. It will raise your pH level, so keep that in mind if you do concern about that. However, spring can also be a good time to apply lime, especially if you have tested that soil and indicates that you need an adjustment for that lime. All right, number one.
So I planted seeds and all of my tomatoes are growing, but I was wanting to put them outside because I don't have room in my home to keep them inside. I built a frame around the table and I was using 2 mil plastic all around to make it a greenhouse. What that work for them, or will they die? They are stretching, reaching for light. Even though I have lights on them, I feel like they need sun, but we are still having snow and freezing temps. So I don't know what to do. I keep finding things about replanting them, but I already have them in pots. I was going to keep them in because I'm selling them plants that need to be replanted. So I guess basically I need to know how long they have to stay inside.
Okay, well, you want to start your seeds, first of all, 6 to 8 weeks before your last average frost date. The plants are getting leggy. The only plant in which you can benefit from that is tomatoes by planting them deeper or in the trench method, because everywhere the stem hits soil, more roots can be developing in that final location of planting. Don't want to put them outside because they need to have temperatures. Realistically, even if they're in containers, 45 degrees or above is in that that 45 to 60 degree. They're still going to kind of be a little iffy. They're not going to like it. They'll survive, but they won't like it at night. So you want to try to replant what you can now for your cell and utilize the plants in which are leggy for your own purpose, or people who understand how to plant leggy plants, tomato plants. And that's, unless you've got something else, that there's really limited solutions to this particular problem.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. If it's cold and snow, you can't put them outside, and yeah.
Okay. What is a good rabbit prevention method?
Fencing. 2 foot tall
poultry fencing.
Fencing.
1 inch square or smaller, because the 2 inch, they come in the diamond shapes. 2 inches, baby rabbits can slide through that.
Yeah,
that's
so
no different than the chain link fence.
Yeah, 1 inch. That's pretty much it. You can do research where they're like, use human hair, use marigolds, use blah blah blah. We tried all those things, and for us, it was the fencing. The fencing,
yeah. And we have it even in our raised beds. We've got 4 foot wide by 8 to 12 and 16 foot raised beds, 2 by 10. So we plant our bed, and then we put the chicken wire around the inside perimeter of that bed, so it's inside of the wood. So when they jump up, they hit it and they bounce back. You don't want to just be lagging all over the place, because it'll create pockets and they'll slide between the chicken wire, the board, and then get up in your bed.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's secure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's see here. I have store-bought potatoes, red, yellow, and some are sprouting now. I have about another month before they are actually ready to go in the ground, meaning the soil temperature will be adequate at root zone. Number one, can I plant store-bought potatoes? And number two, will they last another month before I put them in the ground?
Yeah, you can plant them, and I think they're fine to last.
Well, first, you can plant but if they are sprouting, you can plant them. Yeah. Now, the size may vary on the return, because the smaller the potato, the more energy it's using to grow the sprouts. And if it's not a big russet or red potato, you may get some smaller potatoes, but they're not going to waste. You're going to get some type of production on that potato that otherwise could not be consumed.
Now, if they are a larger potato, like I know sometimes those red potatoes and yellow potatoes can be, I don't know, a couple inches long.
Right.
You might want to, if they have several sprouts on them, you might want to cut them in half to if there's like a sprout on each end or something like that.
If they're large enough.
If they're large enough.
Now, if they're wrinkly and they're kind of shriveled up, I would avoid cutting them. Yeah, because of the energy.
Yeah. So you kind of have to use your best discretion there, but yeah, you should be fine.
Okay, real quickly here, 4 square foot. All right, see, I'm going to try to grow kohlrabi for the first time this year, and planning to start seeds in the house. One, can I transplant them out? It says 55 days to harvest. What does that mean? Does it mean when I put them in the ground or when I start them indoors? And I'm getting mixed answers. I'm in zone 5A. How many go in a square foot? Well, first of all, 4 kohlrabi in a square foot. Yeah. If you're not familiar with kohlrabi, you should look it up. There's green and burgundy, and they're very unique, kind of cabbage-like texture or taste above ground plants.
Yeah.
And explain the garden math from time to harvest. Is it from when the seed goes in the seed tray or when it goes in the ground?
In the ground.
And that's when your time starts
Yeah.
ticking at 55 days.
Right.
It's you would think, I started in the seed tray at 100 days no, it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't.
Just the way it works there. Well, we are out of time, and we thank you for yours. Missed any portion of the program or want to revisit it, you can certainly go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, underneath the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, and revisit that. Or all previous 9 seasons can be found on that website, or your favorite search engine. Just search the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Tune in to the program next week, where we will be discussing perennials you can put in your garden now that will feed you for years to come, as well as the growing of tomatoes. Not the seed starting, but once you physically put them in the ground, some of the techniques that we have found that have been successful for decades. And our guest is Asia. She is host of YouTube channel Yellow Door Urban Homestead, will be with us and will answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird,
I'm Joy Baird, and we will see you in the garden.